Welcome back to Talking College Baseball. I am your host, Chris Barber. I'm joined with my co host, Joe Barber. Today we have a very cool guest, Double A with the Rockies, former University of Miami starting pitcher. Joe is repping the Rockies right there. Chris McMahon, Delco guy, big Philly guy. For the Birds fans out there, I can't think of a bigger fan than Chris McMahon. So, Chris, thank you for being on the podcast today with us.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Excited.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you. For you guys who don't know, Chris was my roommate in Miami. I had two suite mates and one roommate, so you guys heard from Fed and Terrell, but Chris was my OG roommate. We shared a dorm together freshman year, and then we were roommates the remainder of college. So really special to have you on.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
So, like all our podcasts, how we usually start, we just want to hear what it was like for you in the recruiting process, getting from high school to ending up in Miami. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I mean, growing up, always wanted to play baseball. That was always my favorite sport, always my best sport, I'd say. And then the recruiting kind of started sophomore year of high school, I'd say, doing travel ball. I was playing for a couple different travel ball teams over that summer and the fall. And for us Northeast guys, we to get recruited by a lot of colleges, you kind of had to travel. We had to go down to Georgia and Florida and stuff like that. And it was just that summer going into the fall. I think I went down to a tournament in Fort Myers and just pitched extremely well and kind of pitched well throughout that summer. I was starting to get calls from more local schools in the Northeast, like Virginia up, kind of in that area. And then once I kind of went down there for a few tournaments, it was started getting even more up and down the East Coast. And I got home after this tournament after pitching really well. It was more the fall, the end of the summer, and it was JD Arteaga, who's now the head coach. He gave me a call. I missed the call. It was a voicemail, and it was just him saying, "Hey, it's University of Miami. We'd love to have you down for an official visit." And as soon as I heard University of Miami, that was like eyes wide, and you got all excited. And I was like, "Damn! Like University of Miami's no joke. Like they're competing for Omaha. They host all the time in regionals and stuff. Like if I want to play college baseball, especially D1 level, but I also want to win. And to go there and visit there was like, this is a no brainer. Like I feel like this is where I got to be. There's a couple other schools that were really close, but Miami just always had that edge in my head. And went down for the official visit. Touring campus, touring the facilities, all that. It was just like I'm coming here, man. Like this is it. This is where I'm committing. This is where I want to be. Like this is easy. And I waited a couple months after the official visit. I think it was like a month or two, and I called Gino at the time because he was the one kind of dealing with the commitments, I think. And I just called him over the phone and I said, "Hey, I'm coming. Like I'm committing. I'm coming." I got really excited. And I was officially a University of Miami commit in the winter of my junior year of high school. So that's kind of how that all transpired.
What tournament was this at that they saw you?
It was one of those perfect game tournaments down in Fort Myers, Florida. I want to say it was like the PG underclass tournament. I don't know. They got all kinds of names for him now, but I think that's what
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
So, was Miami the first school to reach out, or were you getting other looks earlier
Mm,
because you're a Philly guy?
Yeah. So it started local. I think the first ever school that reached out to me was VCU. That was like the first phone call or text I ever got. And then it kind of started getting more like St. Joe's in Philly. Rutgers reached out. Um, Virginia Tech reached out. Penn State was all over me. Penn State wanted me back, but I was never going to go to Penn State just because um, I just never wanted to go there. A lot of my high school kids loved Penn State, and they were going there too. And for me, playing baseball, like I kind of wanted to get away and do my own thing because I knew my goals and what I wanted to do. Um, and then NC State reached out. It was between NC State and Miami, to be honest. I almost went to NC State. I really liked it there. I liked the coaches there. The living arrangements and like everything at NC State was really, really cool. I liked it, but like I said, man, Miami just always had that edge in my head, and that's kind of how it went down.
Cool, yeah. So when you were in your perfect game tournament, the one where Miami saw you, I only know you as a flamethrower, someone who threw high heat. Is that where you're like in high school too? Were you throwing that fast back junior year of high school?
No, so I'd probably probably my junior year season is when I started hitting 90 miles an hour. So that tournament down in Florida in that summer when they all saw me, I was not I was throwing decently hard, but I wasn't flamethrowing. I was just dotting up, to be honest. Like just commanding everything, like getting ahead. Like I was just not even getting into 2 ball, 3 ball counts. Like it was just like 0-1, 0-2, strikeout, 1-2, strikeout. Like it was just that's kind of the way it was. I wasn't blowing it by guys. And then as I started to grow throughout high school, that's when the velo started to come. Started getting to 90, 92, 94, and then when you start playing with that velo, it can be really fun.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so for the viewers out there, how did you make that jump? I mean, you were talking about not even hitting 90 to being up to 94 in high school. I mean, that's a crazy jump. Like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, so it honestly, it was just like a year where that jump happened, and I think part of it was kind of just growing into my body. I hit a little bit of a growth spurt in high school, grew a couple inches. Um, I think also part of it too was I was always playing something. I played other sports my whole life, and I think that really helped. But really, that growth spurt and just that year of pitching and building arm strength, I think kind of really helped that jump.
Yeah, you played big time soccer player, basketball player. Didn't really spend much time in the weight room, right? In high school?
I didn't lift weights. I lifted weights for like 2 months my junior year of high school because I decided not to play basketball for my school that year. Um, and it is the one thing I sort of regret in high school because I just like playing. I like competing. And during that basketball season, my junior year, I got in the weight room a little bit with one of my high school baseball coaches who's big in the weight room. But um, other than that, like 2-3 month period, I didn't touch a weight. I was just playing sports, going from one thing to the next, one practice to the next, and that's just kind of the way it was for me growing up.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. Obviously, we talked to our other guests. They talk about playing different sports through high school, stuff like that. But I think you're the first person who said they never touched a weight in high school. Um, that's very
Yeah,
unique, and it's it takes a different. I feel like it takes a different type of athlete to be able to perform at a high level in three different sports, and you know, without even touching a weight. That's incredible.
yeah. A lot of it was the conditioning, I think, too. I mean, playing soccer and basketball, it's a lot of running, and
Hmm.
you can build some strong legs and some strong core just by doing all that. Um, Doing all different types of movements and all types of stuff, and um, yeah, I it's part of it's I think just God blessed me with it, and I was able to do that throughout high school. But yeah, it is pretty unique.
I have a story that I don't want to I don't know if you want everyone to hear this, but I remember you telling me when we first got to college that you didn't really play too many video games when you were younger. You spent most of your time outside, weren't on the Xbox, anything like that.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
know, spending all your time outside playing sports, I feel like that could have helped mold you into the athlete you are.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A lot of that is because of my mom, and I know she's gonna watch this. Shout out to my mom. She limited the video games on me. All I had was a Wii growing up. She never. I always asked for an Xbox every year for Christmas, something like that. Never got it. I had the Wii. I'd play Wii Sports every once in a while, but I had a ball in the hoop in the driveway. Got a lot of shots up in my driveway growing up. Playing wiffle ball, whatever the heck it was. Juggling the soccer ball. I was outside a lot as a kid, and growing up, video games was not a huge thing in my house when I was a kid. So
It definitely translates. Definitely say
yeah,
it.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
you're going from season to season to season, and going home, you're staying outside. So I mean, yeah, I don't even think you needed a touch of weight. You were active all day, every day. I mean, honestly, like you're
Yeah.
conditioning, like you said, conditioning your legs and your core, and just like the little things that people don't understand that help baseball players is like the little athletic movements. Like if you're kicking a soccer ball, you're working different parts of your body that you don't even know you have.
Hmm.
I was never a soccer player, but you know, um, I can imagine how much like agility you can get from just playing soccer.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of running, a lot of cutting, a lot of footwork. You know, infielders say it all the time too in baseball. They say like the footwork is what makes them field the ball. It's like obviously they have good hands and they have the hand-eye coordination, but they need the footwork to get into certain positions to make a play and make the throw and all that. So I think it all correlates for sure.
Definitely, yeah. So moving from going from high school to ending up going to college, I remember getting a call from Lopes, our assistant coach, saying, "Hey, we got your roommate. He's another Northeast guy. Gave me your name. Knew nothing about you. I don't know how. We were like a state away from each other, but never ended up playing each other.
Yeah,
And I looked you up, and I was like, oh, this guy's not coming. I was like, Chris McMahon is not coming to college. I'm not gonna have a roommate. I thought for sure you were gonna go to the pros.
yeah, yeah. Is In high school I got drafted late in the 33rd round by the Atlanta Braves. There were talks of me out of high school getting maybe like late second round, third round, and stuff. But um, I had a number in high school, and no teams wanted to, give me that number, which was fine. And I was ready to go to college, and I did end up going to college, which I'm very happy I did. Very, very happy I did. Learned a lot, experienced a lot, grew as a player, as a person, all that. And luckily, I was able to get down to campus.
Yeah, we get down there in June. No, maybe late June, early July, right before the All Star game
Yeah, yeah, I want to say it was June probably for sure, because that's probably when summer classes started.
when we started summer classes. That's right. We
Yeah,
we
we
get to the
went down
weight
for
room day
summer.
1 or 2.
That was day
Everyone is
one.
huge. Day one.
Day
Everyone is
one.
huge.
I'll never forget this. If
Have
you
you
want to
tell the
say it, you
story?
can. You want me to say it?
Yes, sir.
It was my first college lift. First college lift. It was probably, I don't think it was crazy early in the summer. It was probably 8 a.m. I don't know. It don't matter. But my first college lift, and we just talked about how I didn't lift in high school. Like that just wasn't my thing. And it was like deadlifting and I think a little bit of upper body. And we are halfway through the lift. We're literally halfway. There's still a long way to go. And I'm just not feeling good. And I get done with however many sets we had a deadlift, and I'm not feeling good. Gave the strength coach is like, here, drink this. It was like one of those chocolate protein shakes or whatever. I took 2 sips of that thing. I walked straight out of the weight room, found some grass, and just started puking. Like it was not for me, man. I remember later that day, me and you were lifting together that day. A bunch of guys were in there too. Like you said, they're all like used to lifting and stuff, and they're looking at me like, "Who the heck is this kid? Like he can't even he can't even make it 30 minutes into a lift. Like, what's wrong with this guy? And I was dead for the rest of the day. Like, I remember we got back to the dorms. We got a little bit of food in me. I tried to eat, but I laid in bed for the rest of the day. I was so tired. My legs were shot, and man, there was things in my body that were sore that I didn't even know could get sore, and it was just, yeah, that was. I'll never forget that day. I know a lot of guys still talk about that day. I know Terrell still talks about that because they saw me do that, and they were just like, "Who is this guy? He can't even lift." And it was a welcome to college, I guess you could say. So, yeah,
I do remember that. I remember
yeah,
coming back home from that day, and I was like, I didn't throw up, but like I feel like I just got hit by a truck. Like I worked out in high school, but never to like that level. And that was like day one. We're doing 2.5 hours of like taxing workouts in the
yeah.
Miami
It
heat
was,
too. We're not used to that heat.
yeah, not used to that heat, and yeah, like you said, I mean, those lifts are no joke at all. And after about a month of them, you start feeling stronger, which is cool. Like you start seeing results pretty quickly when you work out like that, and it started getting better and better. But man, those first 7 to 10 days of those kinds of workouts, man, they crushed me for sure.
Chris, you never heard that story, I don't think, right?
No, that's the first time I'm hearing the story. I mean, that's funny. Usually when Joe would call me about his roommate Chris McMahon, he'd be like, "Yeah, he throws like the hardest ball he's ever seen thrown at him." Uh, but he never told me the story about you throwing up after the first workout.
Yeah.
But that's funny. Did you ever start liking the workouts again, or
No,
you
I,
know?
I, I mean, you had no choice, really.
Yeah,
Like
I
you,
guess so.
you kind of had to start liking them because, I mean, you were gonna go through it every day. It was, deadlift Monday, squat Tuesday, and then kind of just run it back again on Thursday, Friday. Whether it was squat, a different variation of squat, it was probably back squat to front squat to lunges to deadlift. Like it was just crazy, and then you had upper body in there too. It's just a lot going, and but like I said, man, you got strong quick, and it was you saw results pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's you talk about obviously you're doing the lower body and upper body and stuff like that. And you know that there's a lot of high school coaches that say like pitchers aren't supposed to do upper body in the weight room, and I think obviously that's just not the case. As you see, like when you went to college, right? It was you guys did
Yep,
upper body.
yep, yep. You got to have, I mean, you got to have strong arms. You got to have strong chest, strong back, all that stuff to be able to throw a ball over and over again, especially if you want to make it through a season. So, yeah, I mean, got to do some sort of upper body. You can't just leave it alone.
I think the only variation that position players, like people that are arm pitchers, I think we had in Miami were we would do barbell bench and you guys would do dumbbell benches. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it was the way. I think it was the way they kind of like came down. You wanted the pitchers wanted the more neutral grip instead of like this. That's I think the idea of that. But yeah, I do remember that.
But other than that, it was no pitchers get off
Yeah,
easy or they don't have to do this. No. I
yeah,
remember we were doing
yeah,
push ups with like 45-pound plates on our backs, just
yeah,
kissing the floor, not even gonna be able to get up.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of when I started feeling sick in that workout because I couldn't do push-ups. I was going down. I would be able to get like one or two done, and then I'd go down. I was just like, dude, I can't get back up. Like my arms are fried.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Good
So I
times.
mean, you knowing that obviously, and um, high school players going into college, what would you recommend them like do? Play all three sports and not lift, or get some lifting in before they go to college so they don't have that experience?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in playing multiple sports. As a high school kid, um, if you if you know you're gonna get to college, like if you're committed, sophomore junior year of high school, should definitely involve some lifting in there. but I wouldn't just shut down the other sports either. I would keep playing those other sports. I mean, you're what, like 15, 16, 17 years old, like just go play sports, man. Go have fun. But like I said, if you really do want to be prepared for college, which I'm assuming everybody would be, definitely get in the weight room a little bit before you get there. Just so you are a little bit more prepared than I was, for sure.
The multiple sport thing comes back to, I really think it's like region based, because you're like the first Miami guy who spoke about doing multiple sports in high school, other than Gabe. Gabe said he did martial arts a little bit, but I think he started that his freshman year of college. But other than me and you, most guys down in Miami only played baseball. They didn't know anything else. Especially when we got there our freshman year.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was almost everybody. I mean, they would always tell us about how they would play basketball, like pickup and stuff. But like, everybody played pickup basketball when you're in high school. It was just something to do on the weekend with your buddies. But yeah, like you said, it seemed like everybody just played baseball, and it started at a relatively young age for them. And for us, man, that's just not what we did. And even our classmates, our teammates in high school, everybody played something, whether it was football or basketball, and then some guys went and played lacrosse. And you know how the seasons went with the different sports. It was somebody always picked something. I mean, there's even private schools by me that I had buddies going to, and the school required them to play a sport at each season. Like they had to do it. And I think I thought that was pretty cool, pretty neat. But yeah, I think you are pretty spot on with that. I think it is kind of a region-based thing. I don't know why that is, but it does seem to have that kind of trend.
Yeah, like the guy we had on last week, Chick, he was telling us he's from Virginia. He did multiple sports, and they're pretty northeast Virginia, so it's just an
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
probably obviously the weather too. I mean, can't really play. I mean, no one. I mean, you could play baseball in the cold. I mean, no problem, but
Nobody's
no
want
one
to.
wants to do
You're
it.
not
No one
playing
wants to do
games.
Yeah,
it. You don't want
yeah.
to do that. Everyone's like, you know
That
what? Let's go play some basketball just because it's indoors. I mean,
it's indoors. Yep,
it's
yep.
actually funny. I when I was in high school, I played multiple sports, and then when I started dedicating everything to baseball, and I didn't play the other sports, I felt like my movements were slower, and I felt less athletic. Honestly,
Yep,
I
yeah,
mean, I was just like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like, I feel like I'm not jumping as high or running as fast, and it's probably because I stopped playing the other sports. So after that, I
yeah,
was like, "All right, I got to start doing other things again."
yeah, yeah.
So
Gotta stay active for sure. Yep.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if you remember this story, but talking about playing just pickup sports, Fed and Terrell for like a week used to just talk smack to us how they play basketball. They're so good at basketball. And this was like 1 or 2 weeks into the summer. They challenged me and Chris. It's like a 2-on-2 pickup game. As soon as we got there, I saw Terrell dribble the ball. I'm like, they don't play basketball. They have
No,
never played basketball.
nah.
It
They
was like
don't. They
11
don't play
nothing. We're the
basketball.
switch
That guy.
teams.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't hoop like we did.
yeah, I know. Joe, I remember you telling me that story, and obviously in high school you were, I think you led the league you were playing in rebounds, and Chris, you were what 1,000 point scorer in high school.
No, not quite. Not quite. I uh I shot the ball pretty well though. I was a shooter, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
So
you were,
me and
just Joe
Spars
told me.
together as a team was, yeah. Me and him together as a team we were tough to beat for sure. Spars would just get everything down low. I'd be up top dribbling and stuff and shooting, and yeah, we were. It was pretty fun. We had to shut down the wellness basketball pretty quickly, but once we got into baseball, so
Where we lacked, they definitely showed it in the weight room. Those guys, Terrell and Fed, they were both animals. Like I
yeah,
did not know what working out was until I met them. Like Fed was up 2 hours before lifts, eating at this time just so his body was ready, and I was totally lost. Terrell was like squatting like 500 pounds.
yeah.
I
Terrell can
we
move
were
some
18
weight.
years old,
Yeah, Terrell can move some
so
weight for sure. So could Fed. Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, we end up getting through summer, thankfully, and we head
Thankfully,
to the fall.
we did it.
How'd you like the fall? What did you think about like the scrimmages, the little
Yeah,
season kind of?
yeah, yeah. So it was like you said, kind of a mini season. You just kind of played against each other, and it's a grind for sure. I mean, especially that first fall for us because summer was summer was a little bit of a tease. Summer was nice because you'd have those morning workouts, and then you'd go do your one or two classes that you were taking. They're relatively easy classes, just to kind of get some credits under your belt and kind of show you what it's like to go from workouts to class to and just being away from home. And then fall comes and it's like, all right, you got 6 a.m. lifts, then you got 3 classes to go to from 8 to noon. Then you got to go back to the field for individual work and practice and scrimmages from I don't know what it was, 1:30 to 4 or 5 o'clock. And your freshman year, fall, you got mandatory study hall of 8 hours a week that you got to go get in, and it's just an extremely long day and exhausting days, really. And but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the baseball part, for sure. Getting to know some of those guys coming in, some of the upperclassmen coming back, because some of the upperclassmen didn't take summer classes. They were out playing summer ball in those like Cape Cod leagues or whatever they were at. And they were coming back, so you get to know the entire team now, and it was fun. I liked it a lot. Good competition. That was kind of a big reason why I went down to Miami too, is because I knew I was going to be playing with some damn good ball players, and I kind of wanted to see where I lined up with them in those scrimmages and stuff like that. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. After that one fall, though, it gets old playing your own teammates. When you're ready for spring, you're ready for Christmas break. First of all, you're ready for that to go home. Spend some time with your family, and then once that's over, you're ready for spring to roll around. But fall can be a grind, man. It can be a real grind. I know there's a few stories Gabe was talking about and stuff in one of your episodes about the stuff we had to do, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I do it all over again, but it was definitely a lot of work, but a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. When
Yeah.
getting to the fall, as soon as like it started and like you said, some guys returned from like summer ball. Was there one guy in particular or like multiple guys where you're like, all right, this guy has his stuff together. I like the way he goes throughout the day. I'm gonna try to follow his lead, like his time management skills, his work ethic, etc.
Yeah, I think for me, right away, it was Evan McKendry, for sure. As you remember, me and Evan built a pretty strong bond throughout college, throughout I guess it was my only 2 years there because he was a year older and also got drafted. But Evan was, as I'm sure you can attest to that too. Evan, he has his stuff together. He knew what he was doing. He was a smart guy in the classroom. He went about his business the right way. A quiet leader is the perfect way to describe him. And he was definitely a guy that, for me, I looked up to because he was also a pitcher. He was a starting pitcher, and it was just kind of the perfect guy to look at.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. He definitely was on the right track. He knew what he was doing. Where's he at right now? Do you
He's
still
in
keep up with him?
AAA. Yeah, yeah. I still keep in touch with him a little bit. He's in AAA. He's having a great year. I know that. I'm hoping he debuts this year. He's now with the Brewers. He was with the Rays forever. He was with the Rays for most of this year, and then I believe he got traded not too long ago to the Brewers, and so he's with the Brewers AAA now. And I've been following him a little bit, and I'm hoping he debuts this year, man. He's been having a good year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if he gets his call to the big leagues. That'd be something, huh?
I think he should. I'm hoping he's a September call up, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny you say that. Someone who's got his stuff together in college and Smart guy in the classroom, and now he's a step away from the big leagues. So it's pretty cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's no secret to it, I guess. There's
Yeah.
no there's reasons why things happen. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another guy we had like that was Romy. Romy, I remember getting him coming back from the Cape Cod League or wherever league he came from, and I was like, "There's no way he's one of my teammates." Like he just looked like a professional baseball player. Like the way
Yeah.
like he moved, the way he like talked, acted, like his approach at the plate, like discipline wise, I was like, I have a long way to go. And
Yeah.
looking up to him was just insane because he's now a professionally baseball player.
Yeah. Yeah. Romy was a good one too. I remember in the summer, a lot of guys talking about him too. The guys that we were going to summer class with, a couple of those sophomore pitchers that didn't go to summer ball, and I remember them talking about him. And obviously, we didn't know who he was. We never met him, and then finally he came back, and you quickly realize why those guys are talking about him.
Yeah, he had it together in the weight room and everything. It was
That guy
made
was
you
stacked.
think like, all right, I gotta turn it up. Like I gotta start doing something different. I gotta take things like seriously here. So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
cool. So yeah, we end our fall off. It was a pretty good fall, long hours, and we get
Long
to
fall. We had that
the spring.
hurricane too. Remember the
We
hurricane?
did have that.
We had to evacuate for like a week or two in the middle of that fall ball. But yeah, that was honestly a nice little break.
Yeah, it was needed. We had a tree come down on the field. Like it was nice.
Yeah. An excuse to get out of conditioning, something.
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah. And then yeah, that spring was tough though. That season was tough. Our freshman year.
Yeah, we had a tough year that spring. We had a tough year this spring. We talked about just Jim Morse's last year. We knew Gino was going to be our head coach the following year, trying to like adjust to what was being a college athlete, trying to see like how to balance schedule, like school wise. Like we missed a lot of classes.
Yeah,
as
that's
athlete.
right. Yeah. You realize how much you have to communicate with your professors. Let them know ahead of time when you're going to miss and what you're going to miss. And normally professors are pretty cool with it. I mean, especially when you're a professor at a school like University of Miami, you're dealing with some pretty big time athletes in all sports, and they're pretty cool with it. They let you know what you need to do. Most of them are pretty cool about getting work in maybe the following week when you get back, stuff like that. But yeah, you're right, man. Then you're dealing with the midweek games, and then you're dealing with traveling on Thursday and getting back on Sundays late night from the road. You get back at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and you're expected to go to your 8 a.m. class on Monday, and that's just the way it was. And luckily Mondays were the day off, so all you had to do is go to class. Maybe you had to lift. Sometimes you didn't even have to lift. You could just go to class and go home. But yeah, you're right. That year, although it wasn't great for the team, you did learn a lot about how the season goes and what it's like going through a full college season.
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's definitely a marathon.
Yeah, it's a marathon. I think a lot of people, for me, I like utilizing those tutors too for school. I think that helped me a lot, especially with the classes I was maybe just a little behind in or wasn't understanding. Because, I mean, I know for me, like accounting, I did not really understand accounting. Accounting's pretty hard for a lot of people, and that was one class that I was taking during the season that I needed help in, and that's when that study hall comes in and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being a baseball player in college, it's obviously challenging to keep up with the schoolwork and stuff like that. And for the younger listeners out there, missing class might sound cool and stuff like that, but you need it's a GPA requirement to stay on the field. You need a GPA requirement to stay on the field. So yeah, you can miss every class if you want to. one, the coach will find out, and then your team's going to get punished. And then two, you're going to fail, and then you're not going to be able to play. So, yeah, it sounds cool, but you're going to have to keep up with the schoolwork. Just a disclaimer out there for guys who think it's cool to miss class during the season.
Yeah. It's not what it sounds like. Although you can maybe get by missing a class every once in a while. You know, you can miss a class and maybe the coach won't find out, and but if you keep doing that, it ain't gonna keep happening. So he will find out sooner or later.
I don't even know how many times we did punishment running in that fall and spring our freshman year. It's the only thing I would revert back to. Like, it's like PTSD. One guy miss a class, whole team running.
Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. It's the whole team. It's not just you. It's not just going to be like, oh, they're just going to punish you. Like, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, you're hurting the team. You're not just hurting yourself. You're going to hurt the team. Guys aren't going to be happy with you. And like you said, man, they'll just punishment running. Here we go. Everybody on the line. And you don't know when it's going to end. All they tell you is on the line. Here we go. And you're just praying it ain't too bad. But it's going to be bad. You're just hoping it ain't terrible. But normally it is terrible.
Yeah, and the coaches have such a bad attitude during it too. Like, they're not smiling, they're not happy. They're like, they're pissed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I mean, guys. We've seen it too. Guys will just like lose it in the middle of it, in the middle of running, and they try not to single out the guy, but it's like, man, if you're just doing what you're supposed to be doing, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't have to be doing this right now. And like I described earlier, our days are already long and exhausting to begin with, and we don't want to be doing all this stuff. We don't want to be doing all this extra running that we don't need to be doing. And so guys will just lose it, man. And guys will just start yelling and screaming and getting mad at the world. And it's not good for the team. It's not good for the whole situation. It's just it all trickles down.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, like people are, they're losing it. Imagine being a freshman, your first, you miss a class, everyone's on the line and it's on you, and you look to the right, and then there's a guy like Romy Gonzalez who's just looking at you, and it's just like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
And it's not like anyone like wants to go to class. Like, obviously it's, even Joe in medical school now, it's just like, like no one wants to go to class. It's just mandatory. You got to do it. It stinks, but you got to do it. The coaches, they care about you going to the class because they don't want the team to run.
Yeah.
They don't want the team. Like, people think that like the coaches enjoy the team running. They don't. Because that means everyone else is tired. Maybe they have to take a little bit off for the practice. They have to, be careful because they don't want players to get hurt. Now they have that in their head. So it's a bad situation for everybody. I mean,
you could be You could be working on other things to actually making the team better when it comes to baseball. Like whatever it is, just drills. Taking ground ball like that. That is a great point. You could be working on other things other than just running up and down and sweating in the Miami heat and being tired. And like you said with the freshmen too, I think it's almost a little bit of a trap with those guys coming right into college with freshman year, because you remember senior year of high school, it's like it's senioritis. It's a word for a reason. Like guys get away in high school because you can do the bare minimum and still get A's in high school. You don't maybe take classes seriously in high school because you're already committed to college. You don't need the grades to apply to colleges. So you're not used to, dedicating all that time and energy to class and stuff like that. So they get to college and they think they can get away with it right away. And like you said, all of a sudden the team pays for it.
Yeah, I know Chris said, like me, like I didn't even like going to class, but like just thinking about it, like high school, you're there from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 7-hour day of class. College is 45 minutes, an hour and 15 some days, 2 classes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too bad. You just have to show up, get your attendance tracker. Like, they have people at the classes, looking for attendance to see if you're there or not, make you sign in. Just get it done quick, easy, and you can head to the field and do whatever after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell you what, yeah, class stinks, but at least you go to class. Maybe you'll a lot of good-looking girls in class sometimes. So you meet a good-looking girl
That's
there.
true. Especially Miami.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe
funny.
not, but
Cool.
So after our freshman year, did you go to Team USA, or was that after our sophomore year?
That was after our
I
sophomore year.
forgot.
Yeah.
Sophomore
After
year,
our
okay.
sophomore year, I was able to go to USA collegiate team training camp. Literally the best of the best in all of college baseball, SEC, ACC, all these guys, and ended up pitching really, really well at training camp. Ended up making the team. Got to play with some guys that are already in the big leagues, and it's really cool to see them in the big leagues. And then we were able to go out to Taiwan and Japan for about 12, 13 days and go out there, play some exhibition series, nothing crazy. We didn't play for gold or anything. It wasn't one of those years, but got to experience a lot, learned a lot from those guys. It was one of the coolest experiences that I've ever been able to do when it comes to baseball. I still remember it very, very well. It was awesome. Pitched really well there too, which makes it even better. So
What were those stadiums like compared to I mean, you've pitched at big stadiums in the U.S., but what about in overseas?
yes, so Taiwan, we played at the same field every single game. It was kind of an old beat up stadium. It was pretty cool, but nothing crazy. But when we went over to Japan, we played like 5 games at 5 different cities, and we were traveling a lot in between games. We were traveling after games, and man, some of those stadiums are awesome. Really, really cool. They take baseball seriously out there, man. And as you know, I mean, they got some good ball players that come out of Japan, and they were a really good team. But yeah, I mean, what you're talking about with those stadiums, they were really cool, and to be able to go see like 5 different ones in basically 5 major cities was cool. We got to go to Tokyo in the Tokyo Dome, which is the main one, and it's awesome, man. They got a band playing all 9 innings, playing all these different types of jingles and stuff like that. It's just a totally different environment, the way they go about the game, and it was really, really cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
yeah, it's
I
really cool.
remember
I
our
remember.
freshman year. Go on, Chris.
No, I was gonna say I remember seeing you guys play in Durham.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to go see you play in Durham. I think that's the same year that Spencer Torkelson was on your team, right?
Yeah.
First overall pick in that year's draft class in the big leagues already. So I mean, I thought that was really cool because he was an absolute powerhouse. So yeah, that reminds me of the Benchwarmers movie when in the scene where Carlos comes out of the woods drinking tequila. Um, he's a I am 12, and it goes up and it's just killing it. I mean I remember just seeing those guys and I was like, oh man, like these are grown ass men. Like they're drinking
They
their beers after the game and getting up and doing it again.
Yeah.
But
We beat
but
up
you
on them too.
yeah, they're rough. I mean, you mentioned you played the same age guys in Japan, huh?
Yeah. They were damn
Wow,
good. Yeah.
I'm sure.
5 game series, and the coaches made it a huge deal when we went out to play Japan because apparently the collegiate USA team has not beaten Japan in Japan since like 1943. So like we had shirts that had 1943 on it. Like they made it a big deal. They really wanted to win. And I mean, we did too. I mean, we were there. We were like, all right, here we go. And game 1, Japan pitching had 19 strikeouts, and they shut us out. And we lost, I don't know what it was, 4, 5, 6, nothing, something like that. And mind you, these are the best college hitters in the country. We had Spencer Torkelson batting like 3-hole. We had Heston Kjerstad batting in the cleanup. Like, we had the best hitters in the country. We had Tanner Allen, who just had like the batting title a couple years ago at Mississippi State in the lineup. Like, we have big boys in the lineup, and they went out there and punched out 19 guys and put up 9 zeros. And after that game, we're like, oh my God, we might not win a game. Like, we're literally just like, oh my goodness. Like, they just dominated us from start to finish. And we did winning a couple games. We won one game on a walk-off home run by Alec Burleson, who is now in the big leagues with the Cardinals. And it came down to Game 5. We had two games apiece. Came down to Game 5. Everything you could really ask for. We ended up coming up short, man. We lost. It was a good game. It was a close game. But it was a really cool experience. We got to like hang out with some of their players too. Really genuine people. You know how if you've ever met anyone really from Japan, they're very, very nice. You might not be able to exactly like have a conversation with them because of that language barrier, but like they're extremely respectful. They're disciplined people. And it was a really cool experience, but we did end up losing Game 5, and but it was a hell of a series.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. People don't understand honestly how good Japan is at baseball because they don't. It's not as like advertised, obviously, as American baseball and the MLB, but the talent. You saw it this year in the World Baseball Classic. Japan won the World Baseball Classic. And it wasn't just because of Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, he helped. But those hitters and the pitchers were just nasty. Like every single player was nasty. The reason why most of those players don't want to leave and go to the MLB is because of how much fun they're playing in Japan. They're in their home country. They get paid pretty well, and honestly, some might argue that it's more exciting to play in Japan than it is in the MLB. That's a debate going on out there in the baseball world, but it's their number one sport in that country is baseball.
Easily, yeah. It's they have their own league, and it's really, really good. I mean, Trevor Bauer's over there. Not that he would want to be over there, but like they pay you a pretty penny. They treat you really, really well. And there are guys that take that route, and they're like, even American guys, they'll go over there and they'll go play for those teams. And sometimes it's peaceful for them because they might not be like a super popular guy. They can kind of just lay low, play baseball. They'll have, I'm sure, a translator with them for the team, and it's the big leagues over there, so you still get treated extremely well. And like you said, baseball is very very well known, very well liked over there.
I remember when Masahiro Tanaka was with the Yankees, he used to always complain that the ball was like bigger in America and it would always hurt his elbow. Did you play with a different ball when you were there? Really?
Yep, and it did feel a little smaller. And it felt better, to be honest with you. But yes, I can definitely attest to that. It did feel a little smaller. Their baseballs, I mean, they're not wrongs or anything. They're OASIC or whatever. Like OASIC makes the baseballs. I'm pretty sure I still have one in my closet at home in Pennsylvania. But the ball does feel a tiny bit smaller.
You think that affected the way you threw your pitches at all, like curveball or changeups?
I think it helped me. I think you can throw it maybe a little bit harder, and I think you can grip it a little bit more. I think it helped my changeup for sure, being able to kind of manipulate it a little more.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean they're throwing their splitters over there, so I mean they got to get their hands around the ball. I'm honestly, I wanted to ask this question: when you're pitching in Japan, right, and you throw a fastball, and you're like, oh, I got a lot of that. Let me get a velo check, and you look at the scoreboard, and you're like, okay, what? I don't know what this is, but
the kilometers.
Yeah,
kilometers per hour. I think I remember. I don't remember what the number is, but somebody in the dugout, one of the coaches, one of the players said like 125 or 127 is equivalent to like 95. I could be totally wrong on that, but it was something. They gave us a number of kilometers, and they were like, "This is equivalent to 95." And I didn't do any velo checks because, quite frankly, I didn't really care. I knew I was throwing decently hard. I didn't really need to check. But yeah, it's a little funny. You look up there and it's like 120 something. You're just like, well, I don't really know what that equates to, but I'll just keep pitching.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's Japan. Obviously, it's far. It's not close. I mean,
No,
how was the
but
travel with a team all the way to Japan?
uh, so wow, that's actually a good question because the way I traveled was different than most of the team. So when I when we played Cuba, I pitched I piggybacked Max Meyer in game one. And for those that don't know what piggyback means, it's like Max Meyer would go the first 4 innings, then I would piggyback him and go the next 4 innings. So we'd get 8 innings done, and then we didn't have much of a bullpen. We probably only had like 4 or 5 bullpen arms from college. And then most of the guys we brought on the team were starters, and they would just have us go 4-4, 4-4 for all the games. Anyway, Max Meyer would go the first 4. I would go the next 4. And then when we were getting ready to go overseas, me, Max Meyer, Asa Lacey, who was supposed to be the game 2 starter, and a coach were going to go out a day early because of the whole jet lag thing. So they wanted us to go out there a day early before the whole team got there, so that way we could get a little acclimated to the time so we weren't completely screwed up for when we had to pitch in the game. And I remember the 3 of us and the coach, we sat in the Charlotte Airport forever. And we were trying to go from Charlotte to Newark, and then Newark to wherever we had to go in Taiwan. I think it was like Taichung City or something. Or no, we were going to Beijing. We were supposed to go to Beijing and then to Taiwan, whatever. Anyway, it all gets screwed up. There's bad weather in Newark, all this stuff. We end up not even flying out of Charlotte because it was just such bad weather in the Northeast. We literally had to wait. USA had to completely redo our flights. The team was fine, but the 4 of us had to switch to the next day. We had to go to Denver and then Denver to Taiwan. And then we ended up getting there. We weren't really able to avoid the whole jet lag thing because of the bad weather and the travel that day. We spent the whole day in the airport, in the Charlotte airport, basically. The entire day. We just sat there delay after delay after delay. And then finally it was just like, oh, it's canceled. And it's like, okay, well, we're going back to the hotel in Cary. And then anyway, fast forward, we make it out to Taiwan. We pitch. We do fine. We get to Japan. The flight from Taiwan to Japan's easy. It's just like an hour and a half. It's not hard. And then traveling back, they were able to get me straight from Tokyo to Newark. And I traveled, it was literally just me and like 2 coaches and 3 coaches. They didn't want anyone traveling that far by themselves, so they threw a couple coaches with me. But most of the team went from Tokyo to San Francisco, and then straight from San Francisco, everyone went to their hometowns. And the flight from Tokyo to Newark was like 15 hours. And I was just like on this plane, and I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm ever going to get off this thing. Like, it's just, it's the longest flight I've ever been on. It's tough. You get through like hour 8 and you feel like you've done a lot of damage, and you're like, we're only basically halfway there. It's just like, it's unbelievable how long it is. And I will say I got extremely lucky. I got an exit row seat, so I had some leg room for the 15 hours. Thank goodness, because if I was in like a regular seat, I might have freaked out. But yeah, it was It was a stressful travel for the 2 weeks, but it was
Is
worth
it a
it.
normal? Is it a normal plane?
It's a very big plane, but so
Okay.
I think like the front half is like I don't want to call it first class, but definitely the more expensive
Hmm.
seats, like bigger seats, maybe like a little more spacious. And as you got towards the back of the plane, it was basically like a normal plane.
Mm.
And but it was like it was two rows, two aisles on these big planes. So when you do these international planes, it's not just one aisle in the middle like we're probably used to when we fly commercial in the United States. It's like two aisles, it's three seats on your left, four seats in the middle, then the other aisle, and then another three seats. Like it's a
Mm.
big, big plane. There's like multiple flight attendant stations throughout the plane. It's a massive plane, but the seats do get like kind of normal once you get towards the back.
The ones you see in the movies, those big
Yeah,
planes.
yeah.
So where Newark?
New Jersey.
That's so okay for people listening. That's the Delco in him. That's the Philly accent. Newark. Me and Joe, we call it Newark. Okay, we call it Newark. So I was a little confused when you said Newark. I'm like,
I knew you
Yeah.
didn't know.
I was like
I
Newark.
knew you were lost. I knew you were lost.
I was like Newark. I was
That's
like
funny.
thinking California, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, all the way to Jersey. Yep.
Well, so that's a crazy flight. So you're going. I don't even know what direction you go from Taiwan or Japan
I'm
to
pretty sure
Jersey. I mean,
I'm, I actually don't remember what
do you,
direction we
you
went
go
in.
over? You probably go
We
over
went over,
California, though, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We went over
Okay.
the Pacific, right? I'm right on
Yeah.
that. My geography
Mhm.
good on that? Over the Pacific, over
Yep.
most of the United States and Jersey. Yeah,
Oh man, to
yeah.
Newark.
It
It's
was,
crazy that your first
yeah,
stop was Denver, and that's where you ended up.
yeah,
Who would have thought?
yeah.
Who would have
Been
thought?
to that airport a couple times. Yeah, yeah.
Man, did you
Cool.
get off the plane in Denver? You're like, oh, this place stinks. Like this is
It's
tough. Like I would hate to play here.
No, I mean we didn't leave the airport, so I don't know. But I mean it's a pretty big airport. I've been there twice, I think, twice or three times. Um, but yeah,
Gonna be going there a lot.
yeah, and then when we landed, it was just like you're finally surrounded with Americans again. So like it's like you're back. You're back. It's like okay, we're back in America. Here we go. Um, and I went and got my bags, and then I was walking out, saw my parents. I hadn't seen my parents in a while, so it was cool to see them. And then I think it's like an hour, almost an hour and a half from my house, that airport. So God bless my parents. They came and picked me up and drove me back. And
That's gotta be the worst hour and a half, though. Oh my god, you're probably like,
yeah,
oh,
I laid down. My dad had he has like a little SUV. I literally got in the back and just laid down in the back three seats. I was like, I don't know where we are exactly right now. I know I'm somewhere in New Jersey. We'll be home in a little bit. I'm just laying down back here, sat on my phone. Yeah,
I'm
it
sure
was
they,
tough, but
try to ask a million questions, and you're probably like, I don't want to
yeah,
hear it. Like
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
right now. Like I cannot right now. I can't even show you pictures right now. I'm so
No,
dead.
yeah.
Oh man,
Gotta
that's
wait till
funny.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Wow. Honestly, like when you're in a different country, like obviously I haven't been in the Japan or anything like that, but I've been out of the country a couple times. But when you're there for a while, like 2 weeks, you kind of like checking around. You're like, is this hostile? Like an area here? Like I don't know. I don't know the
yeah,
language. I'm a little kind of nervous. Like I don't know what to do.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely different out there. Really, really different. The way they do things. I remember in Taiwan, it's not a lot of cars. It's all mopeds. There's some cars, but everyone rides mopeds. I've never seen so many mopeds in my life. Parked on the side
That's
of the
not true.
street, people ride. Dude, I am telling you, hundreds of mopeds, just hundreds, and I'm just like, dude, what's like this place is crazy, and people got their helmets on, they're all riding, and like you think there's gonna be an accident every second, but somehow they don't get in accidents, and it's a different lifestyle, man. And I do want to go back over there at some point in my life because it is really, really cool. And I was kind of, not overwhelmed, but you're very involved in the baseball schedule and stuff like that. So you didn't really have a whole lot of time to like walk around and sightsee and stuff like that. But had a little bit of time to do that. But I would like to get back out there and do that.
Well,
cool.
yeah, hopefully, when you're in the big leagues, you go with the Team USA to Japan with them, and
next
experience.
World Baseball
Get
Classic.
your revenge.
Yeah, you get your revenge against Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
you gotta. At least you don't have to face him in the box, but you'd have to face him when he's hitting.
Yeah, that's probably scary.
Yeah.
A really cool experience that we had with professional baseball was our freshman year. We played against the Miami Marlins. You got to start that game.
Oh boy,
right?
I got to start. Yeah, my first.
That's your first major league years.
Yeah, I got one out, and it was a top 10 play by Willie Escala at second. So if Willie is watching this, thank you for making that play and not making me look completely stupid. But I remember the second pitch I threw. What was his name? I forget his name. The second pitch I threw.
I don't know his name, but I remember the gun sound.
First pitch, ball. Second pitch, fastball. Grooved right down the middle. And there's not many people at this game. We're in Marlins Park. There's not really anybody. It's open seats. So when it's open like that, the echo is even more. And this guy just whack, like a straight missile into the left field bleachers. And like Joe just said, man, it was like a gunshot. It was just boom. Just like, okay, here we go. Like looking in the dugout. Thankfully, no one's taking it like super, super serious, right? Like this was when Morris was still there. He's like smiling. And some guys are like chuckling because this guy literally just, oh my God, like just probably the hardest ball I've ever given up in my life to this day. And I've given up some hard hit balls even in the minor leagues, but man, this guy got a hold of it. And then I also faced guys like Justin Bohr, Starling Marte. Who else did I face? I kind of forget who else, but I do remember Justin Bohr looking like two refrigerators stacked up on top of each other in the box. It was like, oh my God, this guy is ginormous. And I think the hard part about that outing too was it was a big league ump, so he's not giving me a thing. Like I'm a freshman in college. I was in college, like freshman year of college, and even college zones. College zones, you can get a little leeway off the plate. Man, this guy's not giving me a thing. The strike zone feels like a keyhole. And meanwhile, I'm giving up 110 plus exit velocity already. So I'm like, okay, now I don't want to throw it over the plate. And it was just, that was tough. But that's how that one went.
Well, I mean, it was a day before they were starting, before the season started. They did start their starting 9 guys in the lineup. Their relievers came in. I remember I faced Kyle Bearclaw, I think, struck out in like 5 pitches. It's just they beat us 23-1. They just embarrassed
us. Yeah, it was their
our only run was like
roster.
a foul ball that they called fair. Like they embarrassed us.
Yeah, that was funny. It was cool to be on big league field and stuff.
Playing against those guys too was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And I remember Derek Jeter came into the clubhouse right before the game, and I wasn't in there. And I wasn't in there because I was out warming up because I was starting, and I didn't even know he came in. I was warming you up. Were you? Yeah.
I was warming you up midway, and JD comes up to me, dead serious, and he goes, "Sparbs, come here." And I came up to him, and he looked like pissed off. He goes, "Jim Morris wants to see you right now." And I was like, "Oh God, like I did something wrong." So I remember I stopped throwing with you, and like I don't know who came out. Someone came out and like just replaced me to warm up with you.
I think it was
like
Isaac.
Long tossing or whatever it was. Maybe it was Isaac.
I think it was Isaac.
He comes out, and I'm going into the locker room just like terrified. I'm like, "Oh God."
JD's
walk in there, and then it was like, had to mess with me. I'm
Had to.
hell is a ghost. And then Derek Jeter's just standing there. He's like, "Who's the kid who wanted to meet me?" I was like, "I'm gonna faint right now." Like, just between JD and then seeing Jeter, and I was like, "All right, this is not good."
JD was not going to let that opportunity slide. He was like,
No, he wasn't.
he was never going to just be like, yeah, Derek Jeter's in there. Like, you should probably really want to go in there. Of course, he's just going to mess with you and be like, 3 really wants to see you, and just make your heart rate go through the roof.
Yes. And you know better than anyone, being a pitcher on his staff, when he gets serious and he talks to you, it's like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't even like flinch. It's like, okay.
No,
Like,
you better listen. Yep, you better listen and be
Yes.
like, okay. And then, like, the thing is, too, is sometimes he's messing with you and sometimes he's not. And you don't know which one he's doing. So you just always have to take it serious. And then the time will
Yes.
come and then you realize it's a joke. And then, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He'd be the worst guy to play poker against. I bet he's a very good poker player.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember once,
Like,
it was our freshman year. I don't know if it was the fall. I think it was the fall. And you know how we always do BP last. And I'm on home run balls. So basically that day I was in the outfield, and then I would just count how many home runs would go out, and then once BP was kind of wrapping up, I'd go out behind the fence and then hopefully find the amount of balls that I counted. Anyway, I'm out there, I'm retrieving the balls, and I come back. And the way I would go out is dead center field. There's a gate in dead center field that would open up. And I'm coming back through with a bunch of baseballs. And as I'm turning the corner, I see everyone in the infield kneel down behind the mound, and Three's talking on the mound. And if you're in that situation, you don't want to just run in late. Like, you just look stupid. So I just hung out in the outfield behind the fence. And I was like, I'm just going to wait for this meeting. 3 definitely has no idea that I'm not there. Like, he's not going to notice unless he's looking for me, which thankfully he didn't. And so I come back in, and then the meeting ends. Everyone kind of starts moving to the dugout in the clubhouse. Practice is over. And I'm running in, and JD just sees me running in with a bunch of baseballs. And he comes up to me all serious. He goes, what do you do? Where were you? What are you doing? And I said, I was getting all the baseballs, and I was going to come in, but you guys are having the meeting. I didn't want to just run in late. And he goes, okay, well, go up to 3 and ask him what he talked about, like what you missed. And I'm dead serious. I'm like, okay. And like, I take like 3 steps towards 3, and JD grabs me and goes, I'm kidding. Like, get in the clubhouse. I'm like, oh, thank God. Cause I was like, that would have been an awkward moment right there. But man, he doesn't waste opportunities to mess with you. So
That's great.
yeah. But yeah.
So let me ask, when you guys met, or I guess Chris, you didn't meet Derek Jeter, but when you saw Derek Jeter, did he look like a cartoon, like he wasn't even real?
yeah,
I never.
with my
never
heart
saw
rate
him.
being so high, I just had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
Looked fake.
Well, Chris, you're a
Let's
a Phillies fan anyway. You probably were like,
Yeah.
Derek Jeter. Who gives a
Yeah.
who gives
No,
a crap
I
about Derek Jeter?
definitely would have been cool. Definitely would have been cool to meet him. Of all Yankees, he would have been one I would have loved to meet. I mean, you respect the game, respect the way he played it, and all the great things he did. So, but yeah, I would have loved to just see him, shake his hand. That would have been cool.
Well, being a diehard Philadelphia sports fan, what if he talked smack about the Phillies right there? Would you tell him to get in the box, or what would you do?
grab a bat, bro. Let's go. Here we go.
Grab a bat. Let's see if you could get more than 3,000 hits off me. All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Miami Marlins. That was I'm upset they don't do that anymore, but it was a really good time. That's a memory we'll never forget. But some memories I don't know about you, but things that stick with me is like more so not just like the punishment running and stuff like that last, but like the traveling and like going to restaurants on the road. I don't know, for some reason that will always stick in my head. Like us rookies, we had to like get on a table or go in the airport and sing. Did you ever?
Yeah,
I forgot which place you did it at. Did you ever
I
do it?
didn't do it. Never did it. I got out of it
Got
because
away with it.
so. Well, I'll try and paint the picture a little bit too. So when we would travel, the upperclassmen would try and find the best looking girl in the airport that we could find. And they would just go up to her and be like, "Hey, can you help us out? We're trying to mess with the underclassmen. They're just going to like sing a song to you. And we're going to make it act like they're proposing." So when you sing to them, they have the freshmen get down on a knee. And for me, I had my song picked out. Like I was prepared. But the upperclassmen, they seek out the guys that don't want to do it because that's what makes it the best. The guys that are scared of it, the guys that don't want to do it, they're going to pick you because you don't want to do it. And and so I was ready to go if they picked me. I would have definitely gotten nervous, but I would have done it. It would have been funny. But we had a lot of, I mean, you remember how big our class was too. We had a lot of freshmen. We had a lot of kids in our class. So we didn't have like enough road trips to even like get through everybody. So I never ended up doing it, but it was always funny. You know, they'd pick some girl and we'd get the freshmen and they would get down on a knee. Some of the guys would grab the girl's hand or something, and as it was going on, everyone would yell, "Oh my God, he's proposing! He's proposing!" to get everybody's attention in the airport and to look over. Everyone's taking a video, of course, and of course he's not proposing. He just starts singing a song that you better have prepared, and then we would do it at restaurants too, and we would get to places and we'd have guys like stand up on the table and we'd get everybody's attention in the restaurant and make the freshmen sing. But yeah, I never had to do it. So I guess I
Got
was lucky.
lucky.
I got lucky. I would have done it though. I would have done it. I would have gotten nervous, but you know, it would have been funny to have that video for years to come. But I got out of it too, so I'm okay with that.
No,
I would have
that's
rather
great.
gotten out of it.
No, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. I mean, people, you guys are able to play in like a packed regional game at Mississippi State or whatever, and then to sing a song in front of people, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if I could do it. You know,
I'm a lot
Which
more
is-
comfortable pitching in front of a packed crowd than I am public speaking or singing a random song that I've practiced in the mirror.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure the Rockies are
Me
glad to
too.
hear that. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're like, yeah, you know what? All right, good. You know,
Yeah.
it's good to know.
So, yeah, that was
Our
funny.
public speaking teacher probably doesn't agree though. We took public speaking in the summer. We should be good at it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That was one of
Took
my
a course in public
classes.
speaking.
That was easier though because there was what 15 of us in that class, 20 of us.
All athletes, yeah.
All
All
athletes,
Half of them
yeah.
are on a team.
Yeah, and then half of them aren't listening when you're up there, so it's just like
Huh.
the people listening are your teammates, and it was like you, Connor Allen, and I think Jeremy Cook was in there too with us,
Jeremy
and he
Cook,
was
yes.
and even Jeremy wouldn't listen to you.
He was in
It
La
was
La
just-
Land. He had
It
headphones
was
in.
easy.
Yeah.
It was easy, but even then, like talking to 15, 20 athletes that half of them aren't listening, you still get nervous, and it's just like, oh gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Speaking
fun. I
about our
forgot
freshman class, though,
Yeah,
we always were saying, all right, junior year, we're freshmen. It's a big class. Junior year is going to be our year. Junior year is going to be our year. And junior year comes around. It is our year. We're ranked one in the country. And COVID
Nasty.
comes.
yeah. COVID comes. COVID hits, and that is one of the biggest what ifs of my life, really. And it's tough to think about, when everything shut down. We got about 4 weeks in, and like you said, man, we had a squad. We were ready to roll. Our weekend rotation was nasty. Even the pitching that we were able to roll out there in midweek games was nasty. Our lineup 1 through 9, nasty. Like we were ready to go, and like you said, man, it's just COVID hit. We were at UCF. We were getting ready to go to Virginia Tech. that's kind of when everything did. I remember we were in UCF when I guess Rudy Gobert was the first athlete to get it, and that was a big news thing. And then later that day, NBA shut down. And I remember Terrell asking me, "Bro, you think our season's over?" And I'm like, "Terrell, the NBA shutting down? I think NCAA might be next." Just saying, and then sure enough, 24 hours later, NCAA shuts down. March Madness was about to start. They shut down, and it was tough for all of us because I remember talking to this about you with you too, Spars, because we're all on the bus and everyone's getting excited that classes are going remote and classes are everyone's excited like, oh, let's go, and I'm like, I don't think you people understand what's about to happen. If this is all going to trickle down very quickly, and sure enough, season was banged, and we stayed in the apartment for months till the lease was over. Did Zoom classes in our rooms, and we made the most of it. Though we made the most of it with that little crew we had, and during COVID, and yeah, it's tough to think about. I try honestly not to think about it because of what we had going and what could have been, and like I said, it's one of the biggest what ifs of my career. Like, what if COVID didn't happen? Who knows what that team could have done? And I think it would have been pretty special. But yeah, that was tough times. But we did make the most of it.
We did. I do remember Gabe, the trainer, telling us our freshman year that your class is going to be the class, like your class is going to be the class, and not only were we like ranked, we were good, like we were there together for 3 years. We suffered together, punishment workouts together, went through losses together, tailgates, everything, and like we were talking about last week, Chris was talking about his friend Chick was talking about how you got to do things outside of baseball with your team to really make you guys like close knitted. I really think our freshman class like really took advantage of that.
Oh yeah,
we didn't hang out with the older guys too much. It was just kind of like us.
We hung out with the grade above us a little bit, with like Evan, Albert, and Greg, but they had a small class.
Greg and Mike,
yeah. There was not many of those guys in that class, but yeah, like you said, man, we hung out a lot. Whether it was in the dorms, going out to dinner, going to football games was awesome. Going out on the boat, whatever it was a lot of fun. And like you said, we did have a tight group that was ready to make things happen too. I think that was part of it. When we lost at Mississippi State and coming back to work, I mean, we wanted to get back there. We were ready to go. We wanted that, and yeah, it was tough how it all transpired.
Yeah, you guys had the makings of a national championship team. You see teams that win the national championship, you go 3 years before that, it's a young team that aren't very good. Then the year after that, they're still a little young, more experienced, come up short in a regional or super regional. And then the year after that, that's when they win the national championship. It's just like, now it's a whole bunch of veteran guys who have been with each other together. It looks like they're having a lot of fun, which you guys were having a lot of fun. You, in particular, I think you had, 25 innings? You had already had 38 strikeouts. You're pitching a 1 ERA. I mean, like you, Terrell, Fed, you guys were having phenomenal starts of the year. I mean, it looks like you guys were just going to
Slade.
win the whole thing. Slade.
Exactly, I mean, Slade was our Sunday starter. And he's in the big leagues.
It's ridiculous.
Big leagues. He was our Sunday.
It's actually ridiculous. And then who's the Friday? Friday was Van Bell.
And he's having a great year. He just got called up to AAA not too long ago.
I think our whole bullpen was in the minors at one point. Yeah. Like the whole entire bullpen.
Yeah. I mean, we had Greg out. No, not junior year. Who else did we have? We had Fed, Kaiser.
We had Fed. Palmquist.
Who else? Palmquist, yeah.
Carson Palmquist.
Palmquist with the Rockies,
Mark
and
Mixon.
he just got called up to AA. Mixon. Yeah, we had
a really deep bullpen too.
I mean, it's as good as Miami has been overall in like the history of college baseball. That could have been arguably the best staff in history for
Yeah.
Miami, without a doubt. I mean, and that's saying a lot. Obviously, the Miami's 4 national championships, but for every pitcher on that team to basically be a professional at one point in their career, and a lot of big leaguers. I mean, that's saying a lot. And unfortunately, got cut short with COVID. Um, but obviously, thankfully things worked out for you.
Yeah.
You ended up getting drafted
Yep.
to the Rockies. How was that experience getting drafted? I mean, that's obviously
It was cool.
everyone's dream.
Yeah, it was awesome. Obviously, it was a really cool moment. Leading up to the draft was very very antsy, I guess you could say, because we just weren't playing ball. We were down in Miami in the apartment. I'm doing these Zoom meetings with teams virtually because that's how everyone had to roll. And I was just ready for the draft. I just wanted it to happen because you're just waiting around for 2.5 months. And finally the day comes. I know Joe and Nick came for day one up to my house for day one. Didn't turn out the way I wanted it, but it is what it is. And then the next day rolls around, got picked early in the second round, so I'm glad it was not as much of a waiting game the next day. I got to celebrate with a lot of my high school friends. It was a really cool experience. I mean, my parents were there, my grandparents were there, and then I'd probably say 7, 8 of my closest high school buddies were also there, and as soon as it happened, just kind of started partying. Really, it was awesome. It was cool. Just partying and having fun, enjoying the moment. People are calling me. My phone's blowing up. My phone was blowing up so much I had to put it down because it's just like I can't even. There's too many Snapchats and texts and all this to even respond to right now. But it was really, really cool. A day I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, it had to be amazing. Like, I mean, I was so fired up. I got this exact shirt the day it happened. I ordered this shirt,
Yeah.
and I was like pumped up about the Rockies. So I can't even imagine how you felt, your parents felt. Like, it's an
Yeah, it
awesome
was cool.
experience.
It was cool. Yeah, it was. I remember my agent called me, and one of my buddies wanted to see me like get the phone call, and you remember the room we all sat in, that my dad's man cave, I guess you could say, and I'm sitting in the middle, and I see my agent calling me, and I step out of the room, and I remember going into that day, my agent told me, like, if you fall to the Rockies at 46, I think it was, like, they're taking you. It's just there's like 4 or 5 picks before them. I don't think any of those teams are going to take you, but if you get to the Rockies, they said they're taking you. I said, okay. The team before the Rockies was on the clock, and I guess the Rockies knew that they weren't taking me, so my agent called me. I stepped out of the room, and I said, hey, what's up? Literally a 7-second conversation. I said, hey, what's up? He said, hey, the Rockies are taking you right here. Go watch the TV. I said, okay, cool. He said, okay, bye. Hung up the phone. I walked back into the room. And when I'm walking back into the room, my friends and they're kind of like side-eyeing me. They're like, what was that? Like, what's going on? And as I'm sitting down, I kind of just look at my dad and I give him a very subtle nod, like a very quiet nod. And he got the message and he looked at the TV, and sure enough, with the 46th pick, Colorado Rockies select Chris McMahon, and friends start going crazy, and it was cool.
Damn, that gives you like the chills hearing that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, that's great. I'm surprised you didn't hear us from New Jersey, because I think my grandparents were banging the pots and pans when the game got called.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's awesome.
The excitement to that must have just been. I mean, it's probably just like a weight off the shoulders too. I mean,
Yeah,
just to
it
hear
was.
it, right? You're just like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Now it's time to actually relax, right?
Yeah, because that night before was a long one, and I know Sparves remembers that night because he was there, and it was a long one. It was like 3, 4 hours. I mean, just waiting and waiting. because those drafts can get long, man. In between picks and commercials and all that stuff, it was long. And then, of course, I didn't even end up getting picked. And it's a tough situation. It's a little awkward, but it's some of my best friends and my family. So they get it. They know what's going on. And like I said, luckily I didn't have to wait too long the next day.
Yeah, it's cool. You just rolled with it. Got knocked down a little bit, and you were ready for the next day, and there it is.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's disappointing in the moment, but when you look back, you're like, well, I was picked 46th overall. Was it 46?
46. I'm
46.
Almost positive is the number. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure.
You look back, well, I was picked 46th overall. That's
it's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
So yeah, that was a.
What's it like being a minor leaguer?
It's a grind, man. I love it though. I really do love it. I've met a lot of good dudes. A lot of good dudes, and it's a long year. You really realize how long of a season it is. You play like 140 something games. You got to be, just keep your body in shape as much as you can. But I get to show up to a baseball field every day. Like a baseball field's my office is basically how I say it and how I view it. And I'm blessed to play this game. And last couple of years there's been some bumps in the road, and I think everyone deals with that at some point. And I just kind of have to roll with the punches. But minor league can be a grind for sure. But like I said, man, it's a whole lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Wouldn't want to be doing anything else. That's for sure. Not right now, at least. And we're gonna get back out there soon, and we're gonna, keep moving forward day by day. So, but minor league is, like I said, it's just fun. I can't even say it enough. It's fun.
It's great, yeah. I see your stories you post of the stadiums you go to. I'm like, they look like major league stadiums out here.
Yeah. The league I was in out in Hartford. Some of the stadiums are cool, and luckily Hartford is probably the coolest one. My home stadium was the coolest one. A lot of the away teams love going to our stadium. Gets a great crowd. The weekends are packed. It's electric and easy to pitch there. Like the juices start flowing naturally when people are in the seats and they're cheering, and you got all kinds of promotions going on. Like in between innings, they bring fans onto the field to play these quick little games, for the crowd. And when that stuff's going on, man, it's like, damn, like this stuff is legit. Like these people take this stuff like serious. Like the people that work for the team take it serious, and the people that come to the games, they bring their kids and their families just to have a night out and have a good time. And when you realize that, like, they're coming to watch you, they probably don't even know who you are. They're not even going to remember your name. But like when they can just bring their families out and just have a fun time with their family, their coworkers, whatever it is, and they're coming to watch you, it's just like, man, this is cool. Like they're coming to just watch me play, just to do something fun with their lives. And I'm glad I could, bring them some entertainment and some fun.
Yeah, I remember in Miami, you were always like a fan favorite. You always got along with the fans. You always made people feel good. I'm sure you're doing that in the minors too, like with the fan base and stuff like that.
Yeah, always try and talk to the kids, man. The kids and sign their balls and stuff, and say what's up, because fans sometimes think we're like these, I don't want to say like robots, but they think we're like these higher up people almost. And it's like, you know me pretty damn well, Spars. Like I'm one of the most down to earth people, I would think. And I like to have conversations with people and talk to them, have fun. And, it's just, there's so much more than just playing baseball. There's so much more than me just being on a mound and throwing a ball. Like, if I can have a moment with somebody, I don't even need to know what your name is. I don't even need to know where you come from. Just having a quick convo with people in the stands or something, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's good you say that, because there's some people that I know that I play with that they don't sign any autographs or talk to anybody, and it's like I never understood that. You don't know what those people are going through when they come to the games. You could be someone's superhero and you have no idea.
Exactly.
And you could talk to a kid, and that interaction he could remember for the rest of his whole career. I remember going to a Blue Claws game and talking to the bullpen catcher at a Blue Claws game, and he looked at me and he gave me a ball, just like he's just like, work hard enough and you'll be out here. And I still remember it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the bullpen catcher for Blue Claws, and it's just like people don't understand what kind of the interaction you have with people and how far it goes. Like even to the adults too. I mean, they remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if they see you on TV playing for the Rockies, they're like, well, that guy was a jerk to me, and I hope he. You don't want that. You want people to root for you, and you always be nice to people, and hopefully they reciprocate that.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. For all the young listeners out there, what's one piece of advice you would give them, Chris?
Man, where do I even start? Couple things really is one, just believe in yourself, believe in your abilities. I mean, if you let doubt set in, I believe you have already lost. Another thing is, man, just be in the moment. And I know that sounds very cliche and very simple, and it's like, okay, what does that exactly mean? Being in the moment to me is just like being aware of where you are, who you're with, and what exactly is going on, and being grateful for everything that is going on around you. I love hanging out with my teammates. I mean, I think you know that, Sparbs. I love hanging out and just talking in the locker room. And there are literally moments in the locker room where, there's stupid arguments going on, whether it's about, the football season coming up or the NBA playoffs going on earlier in the year or just anything. And like, I sit there and I have moments and I'm like, this is the stuff I'm probably going to remember the most is these moments of just having fun, just camaraderie in the locker room. And to me, that's what being in the moment is. And when it's time to play ball, it's time to play ball. And you go compete and you do anything and everything you can to win the game for your team. And so those are probably the two main things is just believe in yourself, have that confidence in your abilities, and just be in the moment with the people you're with, the places you're at, and just be grateful for it and enjoy it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. Before we head
Absolutely.
out, I have one last thing that we have to bring up that will be in a blooper. We've had this story with Terrell. I had the same question with Fed. I'm going to ask you. It's our second week, and maybe it's our first weekend in Miami. Me and you are in the dorms by ourselves. You know exactly where I'm going.
I think so.
It's a ghost town. We're like, all right, let's try to play PS4 in Terrell and Fed's room because they have a PS4 there. We go to open the door.
Yep.
They have it barricaded.
We try to give it we're expecting it to just open right up, and we're like, what? Like, what happened to their door?
There's no locks. There was no locks.
No locks in those dorms. Those dorms, man, they were. We loved them. We absolutely loved the dorms, but they were tough. They were not the nicest dorms, you could say, but they did the job. And so we had to share the bathroom with them, and the bathroom basically connected our rooms. So each room had the two beds, which is where me and Sparb stayed in the one bed, and then in the one room, and then you just literally walk through the bathroom, which there's two sinks, toilet, and a shower, and then to get to their room. And like you said, they're out of town because they would go home for the weekends or something. And we try and open the door, and it's just like not opening. And we're like, what the hell's going on? Like, so we thought something was maybe up with that. And then sure enough, we just start hearing like a tear as we're like pushing the door. And sure enough, these two guys tried to duct tape the door shut. And we're like, I'm like, what? Like, and they tried to put their mini fridge in front of the door. And I don't know what made them think that was going to stop us, but we pushed through it. And I don't know if you have a picture of it or not. I don't. I wish I took a picture of what they tried to do, but
You
it
gotta look through
was,
my phone.
yeah, it was, that was funny. That was really, really funny. And I guess they didn't fully trust us yet. I hope they do now. I know they do now. But I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't really know us yet, like they didn't know us. So I guess there's a reason there to maybe do something like that. But
Maybe
it was
the two Northeast
maybe,
guys.
yeah, maybe.
Honestly,
But
that's
Where are we going?
I don't think they know. I don't think they know that you guys actually made it through. I think they have the impression that they just locked it up and that was it. I don't think they knew that you guys went through because they said when you came
yeah,
back the tape and everything was fine. So if they're listening, I think they're going to be surprised
maybe.
that you guys got
We
through.
we might have put it back to make it look like we didn't make it through.
It
But
might have been that, yeah.
we definitely made it through.
It
We
took some
definitely-
effort. Though. We were like both pushing the door.
Yeah, but yeah, we
It wasn't
definitely
a
got
joke.
in. Yeah, but yeah, those two as suite mates was fun. The whole crew we had in the dorms was fun because we had the 4 rooms in a row. We had Connor and Tony, Jeremy and BK, Terrell and Fed, and then me and you, and then Isaac was down the hall with, I think it was a football or tennis player, something like that.
Football.
Yeah, football player, and then down the other hallway was Lonnie Walker and Chris Likes, and it was pretty cool who we had in the dorms, and we had a fun crew because if you didn't have someone to hang out, like if Sparbs wasn't there, or if I wasn't there, or if Fed and Terrell were gone for the weekend, you always had someone to go hang out with. Just go a couple doors down, knock on the door, see who's there, and I thought it was fun. The dorms will always have some memories there.
Pretty good athletes on
Yes,
that
they
floor.
will.
Yeah, we did have some good athletes in there. Yeah. Lonnie Walker went from those dorms to the NBA.
Yes.
Literally 1 year. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
He would get like golf cart of the round and everything though. Like we all walked to class. He was
Yeah.
on a golf cart every time.
yeah,
It was like
so the
it must be
football and
nice to play
basketball
basketball.
guys, yeah, they got treated a little differently, but gave us some grit.
Yes. Who knows? Lonnie might not have
gave us
even
some
been in
grit.
the dorm if there was the NLI. He might not even been there. He wouldn't have been with us.
No.
So
No,
it was cool.
he wouldn't have. Yeah, he would probably would have had some house not too far from campus for sure. Probably would have had some car
South Beach
too.
penthouse.
Yeah, for sure. That team was good. That basketball team.
Bruce
They
Brown
didn't
was
really-
on it too.
Bruce Brown, Jaquan Newton, Chris Likes, Lonnie Walker, freshman Sam Wardenberg, and that was the year Loyola Chicago beat us at the buzzer beater. Do you remember watching that on the bus?
Yes, on the bus. We all watched it. We were traveling from somewhere.
On the bus?
But
Yeah, I don't remember where. I think we were somewhere in Carolina. I think we were playing maybe Duke. I don't know though.
okay.
But yeah, I do remember watching that, and we were all we saw the last possession because we didn't watch much of the game,
Yep.
but we got on the bus for the end of the game, and we literally saw the buzzer beater, and we were like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yep.
They made it to
That's
the Final
crazy.
Four that year, though, so at least they made it far.
Yeah, at least they were there.
But
But
yeah,
that
Cool.
story I
Cool
had to bring
stuff.
it up because Terrell and
Yeah,
Fed had
got to.
opposing arguments on it.
They did.
Terrell said it was Fed's idea. Fed said it was Terrell's idea. So
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
they're never on the same page.
never on the
Yeah.
same page.
I remember Fed was like, yeah, so Terrell came up with the idea. And then Terrell's like, well, yeah, so Fed told us that we need to do this. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not what he said, but all right.
That sounds like them to a T.
Yep.
To a
Yeah,
T.
no, we definitely got to get all you guys on at once. You know, it'll probably be it would have to be in person. I feel like I think the connection would break after the 5th hour that we're on, especially when
Yeah.
I add in Gabe Rivera halfway through.
Yeah.
Um,
That would actually be a great idea to just get a bunch of guys on it and tell our stories because there are countless, and it's I think it would be a good picture for younger people on what they're getting into for any college sport, not just baseball, just
yeah.
what goes down on the field, off the field, in the classroom, on campus, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know a lot of people, they go to baseball.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
not
I'm
everyone
sure,
has
I'm
similar
sure.
experiences.
Yeah.
I would say me and you got very lucky having Fed and Terrell as our suite mates, like adapting to Miami. I know they did the
Yeah.
fridge thing that we just joke about, but in all honesty,
Yeah.
they were like the best guys to have in the beginning
Yeah.
and
They showed
forever,
us
actually.
around. Yeah, they showed us around well. So did them too, and I think Connor Allen too. Connor Allen was a good one to kind of show around. He wasn't a Miami guy. He was, I think he was closer to Orlando, but yeah, Fed and Terrell were really good to kind of show us around and give us a idea of really what Miami's all about.
And Terrell taught us the Cuban side of Miami. Got us really prepared for like the coaches, how they were going to act.
He did.
He really did.
He showed me some good Cuban food too, and to this day, I love Cuban food now. They got some good stuff. So yeah, that is a good point.
Before I forget, I want everyone to know your nickname and how you got it and why it's this or this. So, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Gwills.
Gwills, correct. It is spelled Gwealz. And shout out Brandon Kaminer, also known as BK. He came up with it, and apparently he had a high school assistant coach who's also named Chris, and he called him Gwills. And I don't even know how you would like describe it, but like BK does these like weird voices and all this stuff, and apparently Gwills is a variation of Chris, if anyone can wrap their head around that. And I don't even know how you would like, I don't know how to describe it because people ask me that question all the time, and I would like, before I even try to get to explain it, I'm like, you're not gonna understand. Like I'm gonna try to explain it to you, and you're gonna look at me like, what? Like that doesn't make any sense. And I mean, shout out BK. I don't know if he's ever gonna see this, but if he does, man, he came up with it. He does these weird, like Sparbs. I don't even know if you can try and explain it better, but he just does these
I
weird
remember what he was saying.
sounds. He just does these weird sounds with his tongue, like it's basically Chris, like without using your tongue, kind of, sort of. But anyway, it was Gwills. So he and he kept calling me Gwills, and then all of a sudden, everyone started calling me Gwills, and to this day, guys still call me Gwills. I know Evan McKendry, who we talked about earlier. He literally still calls me Gwills whenever he sees me. I know my Xbox name is Gwills. Whenever I need to make a username for something, I go with Gwills now because it's so out of the ordinary. I know no one else is gonna have it, and so that's kind of how it rolled. And yeah, it stuck all 3 years, and it was quick because BK was there, came in with us freshman year, and he gave it to me quick, and I had Gwills as my nickname for 3 years at Miami.
Yeah, I remember you playing. You were playing, I think, Xbox with our brother Nick, and
yeah,
this was before I even knew like the nickname. I'm sitting with my mom, and Nick's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play Xbox with Gwills." And we're like, "You're gonna play Xbox with who?" He's like, "Gwills," and we're like, "Who is Gwills?" They're like, "Oh, Chris McMahon." Like, what is Gwills? But yeah, no. I just had to bring that up. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is an interesting one. It's cool though. It's stuck. It's cool. It's stuck.
Yeah, I remember BK trying to explain it. He was like, "You go like this. You start off like this. You start off with Chris." I'm gonna sound very, very dumb right now. Just warning.
Yeah.
But you start off with Chris, then you go Quills, Quills, and then you get Quills. That was his explanation. I'll never forget that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. He had an imagination, that's for sure. BK had a good imagination. We'll put it that way. And I mean, God bless him. He came up with a good one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So.
Well, Chris, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on.
Of course, man. That was
great.
fun. Love chopping it up.
And that was awesome. I wanted to mention this is the 7th episode. Your college number was number 7.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And Chris, I want you to show off the sweatshirt that you're wearing. This is Chris's merchandise.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna share a link to it on the social media and as well as the YouTube to shop for Chris McMahon merchandise. Hopefully, he makes a shirt or sweatshirt that says Gwills on it that you can see. It's so click that link and shop some Chris McMahon merchandise. Get it now before he's in the big leagues, and you're not going to be able to get it. So,
cool stuff. Guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. That was awesome.
A
lot of fun.
That was fun for sure. It was good seeing you guys too. I know it's been a while.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.